Welcome to the March Home. I'm Brian Anderson and
Amy. And here today we have our crew, the clinicians from the Veterans Alternative.
we also got Hero on the stage with us today. This is a pretty cool thing.
Up close.
So the clinicians, not just clinicians, but you guys are everything at the Veterans Alternative for services that we do, right? Pretty much.
We're a part of it. Everyone's a part, but I'm Cassie, and I'm the retreat coordinator and also a clinician at the Veterans Alternative.
And you guys all know Allison. She's been here before, wearing this shirt, as a matter of fact. We have to throw the picture up. Who looks better in it, me or her?
Definitely me.
We'll do a vote on it one day. So,
Welcome, ladies.
it's really cool to have you on the show this week. This is the first time we get to talk about some of the cool things that the Veterans Alternative does at the Team House. So let me first start with you, Kashi. What is the Team House?
Well, the Team House is a very comfortable, welcoming environment for our warriors. We do serve combat veterans and their significant others and spouses.
And when you say combat veterans, like that's anybody who served in a deployed environment, not just combat MOSs, right? It's
Correct.
we're pretty open with a lot of those things. And as a matter of fact, we've had a couple of guys that never even deployed, but they served in direct support of deployments, and those are some big needs as well. But it's all veered around that environment, the mission.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of what we do is concerning the transition back. So hence, our population targeted toward combat and deployment.
Yep.
So a lot of our elements, our modalities are geared around that. Bringing them back, including the spouses, significant others
That's
in that
important.
process, very important, because our men and women, they come back and they're different than when they left. So to reintroduce the new warrior back into their family life and back into civilian life. That's what we do at the Team House.
And I kind of talk about that as perspective shifts. And you and I have talked a lot about that, Allison.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain, well, I know what I mean by perspective shift, but it seems like you've kind of agreed with me on a lot of those topics. You're from the clinical view. And how do you see that as a dissenter? Like what's some of the dynamics that make that happen?
Well, speaking to where the perspective shift starts, our warriors are going out, they're having experiences that as civilians, we never experience, but it does shift their perspective. They come home, like you were saying, almost a different person in a sense. And so coming into the Team House, what we're working on doing is creating a different shift in their perspective. We hear a lot of times from our warriors that they're finding that it's hard to connect with other people, to find the right kind of treatment, to find the right kind of fit. And so our perspective is looking at a strengths-based perspective. It's looking at post-traumatic growth, bringing them into the Team House, enlisting that camaraderie that they're so used to having, when they're in the military, and then all the different modalities that we utilize just highlight that post-traumatic growth so that we can look at things from that perspective as opposed to something's wrong with me, looking at what's right with me and how can I work off of that.
One of the things that I've noticed since, Kashi, you came on last year, really about this time last year, one of the things that I've noticed is we've increased in some of the groups and things of that nature. It seems like you've helped bring in another element of communication among our warriors. Can you tell me some of the team dynamics? Because the team dynamics isn't just us as employees or just you as employees. Like, there's team dynamics.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's a huge dynamic, and I feel like we are on a mission of our own, so to speak, at the Veterans Alternative and within the Team House.
Yeah.
Because we have volunteers. Most of our volunteers are themselves combat veterans who have, for the most part, gone through our retreat program and continue to utilize our services. And some are even getting involved in leading their own little support groups.
And that's spouses as well, significant others too, right?
Yep. And spouses, we have a women's group that meets every other week. And then we also have a men's group for support that meets every other week. So
now, what kind of veterans are going to that? We already know that they're combat veterans, but there's generational gaps too.
All generations. We have everything from OIF, OAF. We have Vietnam veterans. We've even had World War II vets that come and just bring us, information. Of course, they're still looking at newspapers and things like that. But it's across the board. And what I find too is that it enhances our community because you have so many different age groups and different generations, different wars. But there is a strong common thread that runs through our environment and through our community at the Veterans Alternative, and that is a lot of it's based in our post-traumatic growth emphasis and on really just the basics of being a warrior. The camaraderie, that's old as time, tribe. We've always been drawn in or comforted by having people who understand us, who we feel supported by, and who kind of lift us up when we're unable to see our own potential. And that's what we do.
I was having a conversation last week with a couple of the guys from the Transitional Task Force. Look at Hero.
If I stop petting him, he starts moving his paws. So
he's always wanting to pull it in. He's been working the last couple of weeks, so it's like his relaxing time. He's a big part of the center. I love it when he's there because I see guys who might sit on a couch or something or their back's against the wall. And it's great when Patriot's there too because Patriot's another service dog, is actually Hero's sister. It's so cool to see the service dog involvement because not only do they tend to their warrior, but they also kind of help inside the community as a whole. I've seen Hero go up and sit right on someone's lap or bring them a toy.
Get them kind of pulled out of that zone that they're in and relax a little bit.
Yeah, it helps take down the walls. Back to the team house, your original question about the team house environment, I just want to mention that too. I feel like it is an environment that you walk in and somewhat feels though you can put down your armor.
It's
and
welcoming.
That you can just kick off your boots and you take off your armor and sit down and just be a human being.
But people don't just, I know for me as a veteran, like, going into a place that I don't know and it's just to hang out, like, like cliques in high school, you think about that, like, how do you just go in to hang out in a place that
doesn't have people that you might feel you would fit in with?
Well, you just don't know. Like, I know as me, like, I wanted to be, I was kind of siloed. So what is it that you guys do to, because I know that when we were first talking about this, I wanted to attract people. I wanted people to come in. What are some of the activities that we have going on that helps with getting guys in the door for the first time? They can try this out or try this out. That way they're not an individual, but they're working already as a team and they're not isolated or singled out when they walk in the door.
Well, one of our favorite pieces that I see individuals enjoying is when we do integrative restoration or iRest. Yes, see, automatically excited.
iRest is... It's like floating on clouds. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's a good thing. Please tell us about iRest.
It's just a very relaxing practice where all you're required to do is essentially, get out some bolsters, some blankets, some pillows, lay down on the floor or the couch. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, some individuals will just sit in a chair. You can even stand and do the practice wherever your comfort level is. And you're led through basically a guided meditation. Comes from a very ancient yoga practice, de-hippified.
De-hippie.
Yes.
Just making sure we pronounce not HIPAA, hippie.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got to take the dirty hippie out of there and make it really good.
Yes,
That's what
make it a little bit more palatable for our military folks.
And just so you know, that actually happened at Walter Reed.
Correct.
Yes.
An amazing hospital. I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later.
Yeah, but you go through a 10-step protocol and it just enables our warriors to come in, like you're saying, kind of put the armor down and just chill. And it also has deeper effects. 20 minutes of it equal to 2 hours of REM sleep, which is so needed with our veteran population. So that right there I see is the easiest and the best way for our warriors to get in the door, to just chill out, to be with their other brothers and sisters, and to finally relax. That's one piece of the pie.
That's a great introduction, I think, to the center when they come in for that.
So, and we do that pretty regularly. We have iRest sessions going on a few times times a week, right?
Yeah, when we're doing our retreats, they're going on every single day with our
5
warriors.
days a week.
Our scheduled IRES are on Tuesday and Thursday after
Okay.
our gentle yoga sessions.
Yep.
And then on the weeks when we're having our barbecue,
There's a few more days.
we do one at
Yep.
4 p.m. on Fridays. Yeah.
Okay. And now the IREST is something that anybody can go to. If they're a veteran, they've served in combat, or they're a significant other and spouse, they come together
Yep.
and try that. And that's a great introduction. And so that modality, like I always look at it as one of the greatest add-ons that we have to accelerated resolution therapy, the main modality that we use. Because I always look at the sleep component. From your perspective, because you're about to get trained in IRES soon, right?
Yes.
She's excited. Look at her. She's excited. Allison's already trained in integrative restoration, and both of you are ART clinicians. Both of you are trained in accelerated resolution therapy, but you've participated in IREST. You've seen it done at the center, and you're already providing ART for our warriors. You've been doing that for a long time. What do you see as IREST as a help or an aid to ART?
Oh, it's a beautiful way for people when they go into the ART session. There's a lot of heavy work done in the
Yeah.
ART sessions.
I've done a few.
Brian knows.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Tears are shed,
Yes.
but it's good. It's always good.
It always ends up good.
Yeah.
And it's that progression, into a more easeful state.
But you got to
that
do
we
the
take
work.
them
That's
to.
the big thing. Is
So
you
gotta
got to
get
do the
through
work.
You have
Yeah.
to be prepared for that.
And so when it comes to the IREST, what I feel like is the IREST is very complementary because we're already in the ART session. We're coming to a place of ease. We're coming to a sense of calm. Even when we're looking at what formerly was triggering,
Yep.
perhaps, or situations in our life that keep coming up and reminding us of a darker place that we don't want to be anymore.
Yep.
So we're bringing in that calm energy, and then when they go in to do the IREST, it almost solidifies that calm energy and really brings it into the body.
Deeper.
Yeah, into a deeper sense.
Yes.
You know how I kind of, for myself, there's so much work that happens in there, and then afterwards, I just need to process. And what better way to process than just a nice, deep, relaxing, guided meditation? Because
Great flow right after. Yeah.
before y'all were trained in ART, what'd you do? You just told people to go and meditate, or how did you do it? Like, I don't know. I've been on to so many therapists, and they're like, "Hey, meditate," and I'm like, "How do I meditate?" And then all of a sudden, IREST. Our great Janelle Norton from Trinity Yoga. Make sure you check out their spot, Trinity Yoga and Trinity Yoga of Hudson. She brought in IREST to our organization, and that IREST is, I got to tell you, as part of my preventive maintenance plan. It's an amazing practice. So you're doing that now. You're going to be going through the training soon. We talked a little about the retreats, and I think we'll talk about that more in the next segment. Some of the other things that we do have yoga classes. What kind of yoga classes do we do throughout the week?
Well, primarily we do gentle yoga.
Yep.
We're not looking to put people into headstands and wrap their legs behind their heads. That's typically that fear individuals have when they hear the word yoga.
So you don't,
Yeah.
if you're a veteran, you don't have to look like a goof troop right away.
Correct.
That's your practice if you want to grow into that.
Yes, but we're just really working on centering individuals, just getting them comfortable within their bodies, simple breathing exercises, simple gentle movements,
Yep.
and working with especially where they're at. Because we have a
Right.
lot of people with different levels, that they're working with.
Yep.
And our job is to just find out where they're at and meet them there.
And that gentle yoga is really great because it's just kind of teaching them to breathe, which helps in every aspect,
Absolutely.
of life. So
That's it.
Everything's about the breath work. It
Yeah.
really is. And now you take a special interest in some of the classes that you have, the yoga classes that you teach. What's something that you always want to get to the guys? And when I say guys, the folks that are in the class, what are some of the things you want to get to them?
My biggest inspirational approach with my yoga teaching is mindfulness.
Yep.
So it's always about detaching a little bit from events of the past, from imagery from the past, and also pulling yourself back and away from the anxiety about the future and just being in the moment.
That's awesome.
And so when we have our yoga class going on, there is a a natural feel of camaraderie. There's a natural feeling of support. We're all there on our mats together. We're all breathing in sync with each other to some degree.
Right.
So that in that moment, it feels really nice.
Yeah.
And so my objective really is just to help people to appreciate what that moment really is, and then hopefully maybe carry some of that energy into the following moments.
Right.
That's awesome. So listen, we got to cut for a break real quick. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the retreats, about the yoga practice, and how Kashi brings us into rhythm. And I can't wait to see you after these commercials. We'll see you shortly. Good shutting segment.
Okay.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
81% of consumers search online before even setting foot in a store. We help you create a strong foundation for your digital reputation. We help build your online presence to improve search engine rank and make sure your business information is correct across the web. You could do all of this on your own, but why would you spend more than 300 hours a year working on this? You have a business to run. Save time and put our software to work for you.
Welcome back to the March Home. Once again, I'm with Allison, Kashi, and obviously my main sidekick, Amy. And Heroes has not stopped napping this whole show. It's really kind of unlike him to sleep this much, am I right?
Oh,
It's a little weird.
So strange.
Kidding. The dog sleeps all the
Sleeps a lot.
time. That's his favorite thing to do. So I wanted to actually bring up a little thing that I saw this past weekend. I got to go to Walter Reed and see a couple of guys there, and see a couple of, folks that were supporting them, the families and friends and so forth around them. And the guys I ran into, the families I ran into, the people I got to chat with. What was absolutely amazing is all of them carried this positive vibe.
Yes.
Like they were at a place in life, but they know that, there's recovery that's about to happen. And we're meeting, like they were getting met where they were at. That's pretty amazing, right? I say that because, man, that's what I see you two do at the Veterans Alternative. We're meeting them where they're at, and then it allows them to even be, you brought this up earlier, Kashi, you said our veterans are actually volunteering, but it's more than that. They get more involved with each other. It's like they're a family unit that's working towards growth. I think that's a good analogy of a good explanation of it.
Yeah. And I think those veterans see the growth in themselves, and they want to help other veterans, find the same thing.
So your yoga practice, you started talking about like just bringing them into that. What have you guys seen really with guys supporting each other at the center?
We have we actually have a peer mentorship program going on right now with training and everything, but even informally outside of that, it is just a natural, flow that we see happen within the retreat groups. We have individuals, they come from all corners of Florida and the country, and they all come together for this 1 week that they spend together. And this is just one example of how I see all that camaraderie and that team building family feeling. They all come in from different angles, different branches, different missions, different wars, but somehow every single week there's always that feeling, that enmeshed feeling, and
Yep.
by the end of the week, of course, day one, you don't always have that. There's a lot of apprehension.
Everybody's backs against the
Yeah.
wall. They
Yeah.
want to know
Everyone's
what's
very
going on.
guarded,
Yep.
and we're aware of that even as civilians. Allison and I both have, both of our fathers were veterans, but outside of that, we are aware of how people come to us, and we respect that, and we allow that space. And the beautiful thing is that we have our volunteer base of
Yeah.
veterans who are there to do the pickups. They pick our individuals up from the airport or from the hotel,
And this is on the retreats.
and this is
Yeah.
on the retreat.
And
Okay.
that brings like a level of comfortability, I think, when they're coming to pick them
Yes.
up.
The
and bring them.
consistency
And it starts there. It's that spark of leaning into one another, and then as we see our warriors growing and seeing their own potential, it's true that they like to reach down and pick up another brother or
Yes.
sister, and it's just this beautiful upward spiral.
Yes.
It's like really networking in a huge way. Like you're becoming partners in this, you know, like you're
Yeah.
becoming teammates. And
Exactly.
I was thinking about that, like actually just seeing some friends recently. I was thinking about those team dynamics and what it's like, you know, in those areas where honestly we are negotiating human life in war. And it's hard, like when you have that much, because you see people at the truest essence of who they are. You really do.
Yes.
And then when you come back home, you want to know that you get to see that full, true version of somebody, the person to your left or to your right.
Yeah.
Guys are showing that to each other at the center. And they're doing that. Like when someone says, hey, I need to do this, someone's like, yeah, let me help you out.
Right.
Even if it's a burden or something of that nature on a lifestyle, they still help out.
Yeah. I've noticed a big shift with the male support group that you were talking about, which now has an official name, the Combat Zone.
Oh, the Combat
The
Zone.
Combat
I love
Zone,
that.
I like
yes.
it.
Look at that. Combat. When did they do the Combat Zone?
The next one will be July 11th.
July 11th.
Tuesday,
the
July
Combat
11th
Zone.
at
Okay.
11 a.m. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we started out by having a facilitator. You
Yep.
know, we had an intern, Jesse, who was doing the group and doing a fantastic job with it. But because there is such strong camaraderie between, you know, these individuals, they've gotten to a place where they don't need a facilitator.
Oh,
They're
wow.
there just to run it themselves
It's going
and to
really
be there
well.
for one another. And that's just an amazing example of how they've taken this as their own. You know, we've put out this group and they've been like, okay, thank you. This is ours now. And that's how we want it to be. We
It's a
want to have
campfire
that vibe.
chat. It's for amongst warriors. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so they can support one another and walk the walk together now that they're home.
Yeah. So, Kasia, you talked a little bit about the retreats. The retreats, how often do we do those? And just give me a kind of idea. I know that we do ART, we do iRest. Define a retreat for me.
Okay. Well, our retreats, we run those about 3 times a month.
Yep.
The retreats go from Monday to Friday. Essentially, warriors are with us Monday. They report in about 8:30, and then.
But they usually, if they're coming from out of state or.
Well, they check into the hotel Sunday.
Yep, Sunday,
So,
okay.
Essentially, it kind of starts Sunday because we encourage, and I'm the point of contact initially, and I usually try to emphasize Sunday night, go to the
Yep.
hotel, relax.
Relax.
And that's for local people and local warriors and for out of state.
Yep.
We encourage everyone, whether you live 5 minutes from the team house or
Live down in Miami.
500 miles,
Yeah.
to stay in the hotel so that way you have that whole sense of being away.
It's
for
truly a
week.
retreat for them.
Yes.
Making an environment where each day they go back to their room, they've got
That's
a bed
right.
made.
And a heated pool to swim in. And the rooms at the Fairfield Inn, by the way, are beautiful too. They're like
Yes.
suite style.
And thank you to the Fairfield Inn. I mean, honestly, they do a tremendous job supporting us.
Yes.
And throughout that week, so they do ART,
So they come
iRest.
in, they come in every single day. Every warrior has a session of ART, so the accelerated resolution therapy, that's usually first thing in the morning. And then we also have some different things threaded in there while they're waiting on their session. They might be working on a vision board
Yep.
or some
Right.
sort of art project. We try to thread different things.
Excuse me real quick about the vision board. So barrel-chested freedom fighters out there. We do the vision board usually when there's couples. When it's just a guy's retreat, sometimes we refrain from that. So
we work off the
we
know
work
our
off the
audience.
sense. Just I don't want you to be scared. Like, I'm not gonna go do no dang vision board. It's crazy. Honestly, you guys kind of go with the flow of things with the group
Absolutely.
that you have.
We base our activities, our fill-in activities, we base those off of the population we're serving
Yep.
that particular week.
Right.
So you might go deep sea fishing or something. I mean,
right.
come on, or scuba diving or
We
something
do,
like that.
We do scuba, we do deep sea fishing, we do beach day,
Yeah.
we do museums. There's all different things. Sometimes there's veteran events going on that week, and
Yep.
we'll do that. Raise games. We're going to be getting more involved with that.
Right.
So the activities, but outside of that, the ART, they do eye rest every single day. Yoga is provided 3 times out of the week during the retreat, really the amazing part about the whole experience is just sharing that with other warriors who have been through similar experiences.
And they're
like we
guided
have.
by warriors. Like you were saying that, like, hey, our veteran volunteers, they're the ones that pick them up for meals or pick them
Take
up
them out for dinner every
Yep.
night.
and participate in their activities with them. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a really cool niche thing that goes on there. And honestly, what's really cool is they're driving around a big van that says Veterans Alternative. Thanks to Moss Nissan, they're driving around that van all over the place, and it's almost like they're in their unit vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like they're loading up in the troop carrier, and they call it that. I think everything that we're kind of doing is just pulling in so much. And part of that, like this weekend, actually Saturday, we're having the Kia Fest.
Yes.
We did this last year where we took up a space right in front of Orange Lake for the fireworks.
It was a huge hit with the
A huge
veterans.
hit.
They
And
loved
one of the
it.
things that I love the most about it, because I have sometimes difficulties with fireworks too, when we were isolated inside that little area that we had all blocked off, now it was just us. We were in like our own secure area to watch the fireworks, and when I didn't have people just zooming left or zooming right and running by me, it was like I got to actually enjoy fireworks, and that was an amazing thing. Do you remember that last year? Did you see that at all?
Well, you must remember. I was at the Red Rocks Amphitheater last year.
She was not there.
Sorry.
But it was an amazing experience, and you guys
Yes,
are going
I
to be
heard
out
it
there
was.
this Saturday.
I
Yes.
was there, and I actually remember somebody coming up and saying thank you, and I think they were thanking you, but I was standing there and observing, thanking you for that opportunity. It was the first time they were able to enjoy fireworks with their children.
That's amazing.
And I
Yes.
remember that. I'll always remember that.
I remember that too.
That's awesome.
So we're doing it this Saturday, and it's right at Sims Park. The Veterans Alternative is going to have his own tent up there. We've got some tables and chairs, and it's a fun way that we can meet some of the group. You two will be there. I'll be there throughout the entire day, and we'll have some of our veterans there. So Warriors, if you want to test it out and you want to see some of the people at the Veterans Alternative, come by this Saturday. We're doing it right at Kia Fest. It's going to be a fun event. There's a trolley pull going on throughout it, so you can sign up for that. Winners receive $500. You can donate it right to the Veterans Alternative. But it's going to be a fun Saturday, celebrating the fireworks around some good friends, some good people, and we hope that you come and join us. It is a family event, and it starts at 12 o'clock and it goes until about 9 o'clock is when it's really 9:30, somewhere around there.
Fireworks.
Fireworks is
Yes.
when it gets dark. I think it's 8:30 when we have those. So I really highly encourage you guys. And honestly, I can't thank you two enough for coming on the show and sharing a little bit about what you do and what the Veterans Alternative is.
Yes, thank you so
So
much.
thank you guys for
Thank
both
you.
coming on. We'll see you next week for the March Home. You guys are